The real gift, Cody, is not the goal itself. It's the person that you become on the way to achieving that goal. That's more valuable than the actual goal. And so, for me, it's like I'm continuing to improve myself. I'm continuing to grow. The person I am today, if you were to tap me on the shoulder at 15 years old when I was sleeping on the streets and you say, you know what, one day you're going to be speaking in front of thousands of people.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast. I'm Cody Crabb with Investor Fuel, and joining me today is Alfonso Cuadra, founder of Wealth Genius and a real estate entrepreneur focused on helping investors think bigger about wealth creation. We're going to talk about his journey. We're going to talk about lessons from the field and what serious investors need to understand if they're really wanting to grow. Thanks so much for joining us today, Alfonso. I'm really digging that blazer that you're wearing. That is awesome. If you're just listening, check out his. Yeah, that is stylish.
It's got my name in it, so
even better. Wow, yeah, that is like top shelf. But enough about the blazer. I would love to hear about kind of your story. As we were chatting earlier, you were mentioning that your story was a little maybe unconventional. I'd love to hear a little bit about how you got into real estate in the first place.
Yeah, so I came as a refugee from El Salvador.
Oh, wow.
I think you spent some time in Mexico, so it's a few doors down.
Yeah.
It's a little country. We went through a civil war in the 70s, and I immigrated to North America. My mom was involved in some political things, and we had to get out of there. And so, when we arrived, it was, we spent a lot of time, during that civil war, not having access to many things, and I missed a lot of educational opportunities. I couldn't go to school like normal kids, and so when integrating into the education system, I felt like I was behind. And anyways, nothing really resonated with me in the education system. I ended up dropping out of high school at 15 years old and leaving home and having some really dark times. Slept on the streets, panhandled for change, and I went through some really, really dark times, just like anybody has had some level of a dark time in their lives. Where
That's pretty. You're making it sound like, oh yeah, just like everyone has. That is a pretty. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I think someone has gone through something in their life where they felt like powerless, or you feel like the whole world is caving in on you. That feeling, whether you're on the street. I mean, some people are in developing countries. I mean, it still feels the same. So I think people have gone through something along those lines of feeling that way. Everything changed for me, Cody, when I became a teenage parent. At 17 years old, I became a parent, and it just really changed the trajectory of my life. I started to think about what I could do with my life versus having excuses on why, my life was in that situation. I had to take full control over my life. I started a business in 1995. So my daughter was born in 1995. Her name is Talia. And I started a business as a result.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Of that. And that business grew to locations all across North America. By the time I was 20, I find myself, with millions in the bank and doing really well. And one of the biggest issues was I was very young. I had no financial literacy. I pretty much spent all the money. If you can imagine a 21-year-old that comes into all that money.
I can definitely, especially with your background, you're like, this is the best. Like you feel like you made it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was not financially literate. And so I would spend the money. Now fast forward 24 years old, I find myself negative $1 million. And so I knew that I had to do something, and I knew that I've done some things right, but I felt like maybe I got to learn about business specifically, because my business was failing, and that's all I really understood at the time. And so I started to educate myself, read Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Those were some of the gateway books that kind of got me onto this trajectory of learning and personal development and reading about wealthy people. And what ended up happening was I realized, like, when I was reading all these books, I realized, like, hey, I don't know anything, right? And what I needed to do is follow what these wealthy people were doing. So I never had any type of wealth in my family. And so one of the things that I noticed is that the wealthiest people in the world, number one, they're not consumers, they're investors. And so I was very much a consumer. Number two, I noticed that they have multiple streams of income. I just had that one business, and when the market changed and, things changed, and my business was impacted. And then the last thing is the common thread amongst all the wealthiest people in the world is real estate. And there's many reasons for that. Number one, cash yield, equity buildup, it's leverageable, it's a hard asset, and you have all the tax advantages. And so I said, this is what I got to do. Right. And so this is where I decided to transition into an investor and having the investor mindset. I rebuild my business. And then this second time around, I was going to pour all my profits, everything that I was doing, into real estate. And when I was 30 years old, so now we're going on 18 plus years ago, I was able to exit out of that company, exit out of a lot of the businesses that I'd built at that time. I was 30 years old. I had my real estate portfolio, and now I realize I don't have to work another day in my life. That was about 18 years ago. And so what I decided to do is I wanted to teach people how to do this the right way, financial literacy, real estate. And so that's kind of where I am today. Teaching people, being of service to people.
Yeah, I love that. I love that your first impulse is like, okay, now as soon as I got there, now let's turn around and give a hand up. That's it's funny that Investor Fuel is very much like, because we're all about education and things. One of the things we always talk about is like education is never going to be a bad thing. Sharing information, it's a rising tide. Rising tide lifts all ships, as they say. So like it's something we can, sharing your knowledge is always good, is what I'm trying to say. So
well, the thing about organizations like Investor Fuel is that it gives people a community of like-minded people where, otherwise you don't have anybody. And like for me, it was lonely because I had these ideas of being an entrepreneur, building wealth. But when I talked to people around me, no one had those ideas, right? And so, I grew up around poverty. I grew up in social housing. And, the kind of conversations that are happening are not the same conversations that are happening in rocket fuel. They're not the same conversations that you're going to be having with your buddy from your coworkers versus other investors. And so I always tell people, look, the first thing that you have to do is surround yourself around good quality people, and then your life will start changing, right? So I wanted to be that person for everybody. That's how I started 30 plus years ago, and just getting people, as many people involved in real estate as possible.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Wow. Okay. So now you're so tell me a little bit about your education platform. It sounds like your main goal is like to help people kind of escape that same poverty that you did. So tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about Wealth Genius and what
Yeah.
exactly how it
So,
works.
Cody, I'm a freedom fighter. I fight for people's financial freedom. That's what
Love that.
that's what I do. I believe in systems. I believe in scaling, and that's where you're going to find your freedom. And so the reason I'm here today is because there's something sparked in me when I was reading all those books when I was 24 years old, and I realized that the wealthiest people own real estate, but no one's ever built significant wealth out of the smaller assets. And so where I transitioned is I started to invest into larger apartment buildings, multifamily. And so that transition from the very beginning is actually the reason why I'm here, and I created all that freedom, because I feel that there's a lot of different strategies that you can apply in real estate, but there's only one real true strategy, and it's like larger commercial assets, like apartment buildings, plazas, hotels. When you read about the wealthiest people in the world, these are the type of asset classes that they own. Now, for the other ones like hotels, office space, industrial storage, just for me, it just felt like there was a level of exposure, and that's just a personal opinion. I just chose apartment buildings because I know at the very core, people will always have to live somewhere. And so that reduces the exposure to risk, and now we can build a portfolio that's really scalable. And so that's kind of what that's what I knew in my heart. And then I transitioned into teaching people that. And so I've taught thousands of people to create that time freedom. That's what I'm about. I'm about creating time freedom in your life.
Yeah.
I don't want to help you buy another Ferrari, another super yacht, even though those things are fine. But I feel that I can serve more if I can just create time in your life for you to do whatever it is that you want to do in your life.
Yeah. Wow.
That's more valuable.
It sounds pretty good to me, to be honest. Yeah, that sounds great. So out of curiosity, I'm sure you see a lot of people going through this, kind of starting out. And I mean, as a person in your position, I'm sure you see kind of the start a lot, like a lot of people that are trying to get into it. What separates the ones who actually succeed from the ones who stay kind of stuck or end up quitting partway through?
There's different levels, right? So at the surface level, there may be a level of interest in real estate. For someone mentions it, I think the majority of the population knows there's some level of wealth building through real estate. Some people may even go to the next level, getting information, right? So they'll listen to podcasts like, Real Estate Pros. They'll maybe, read a book, maybe go on a YouTube video here and there, ChatGPT, get information on Google. And that's good. That's the information stage, right? Then the next step is like people will get some level of education, and maybe they'll join courses and online courses, and they'll some people stay at that education phase for a very long time. The next step is commitment. Like, okay, you have the information, you had the interest, information, education, but can you commit yourself? And I think 96% of the people, after getting all the information and education, can commit at some level.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Maybe they join the Investor Fuel community. Maybe they join other communities. Maybe they join the Wealth Genius community. I mean, there's so much out there. And I would say 96% of the people can make a commitment. You know, anybody can commit to a job. You know, they go there 9 to 5 and they'll be there on time and you present your work. But that commitment is actually tricky because people feel that that's enough. That's not enough. There has to be another level. And that's determination and obsession. And that is what differentiates the 4% of the people out there that are actually executing high-level achievers versus 96% of the people out there. Mm-hmm. If you take things like in terms of the NBA, 96% of the players, they're committed. I mean, you get a big contract, multi-million-dollar contract, you will do what you have to do and make sure you get paid. Kobe Bryant would show up before the practice to practice before the practice, right? That's a level of obsession that not many people, that goes above commitment, right? That's a determination and obsession that you have a dedication to, you know, making yourself better and getting the results.
Well, and so, the word obsession specifically implies that it's like you can't imagine doing it any other way. Like that is exactly just in your bones. That's what you have to do.
I've yet to meet anybody that has been determined and obsessed in achieving something that hasn't gotten there.
That's a good point.
So the question, Cody, was why don't many people, you know, why aren't many people successful in real estate, even though they start, or whether they give up? The reason is they never get to that determination and obsession. And what does determination mean? Willing to do what you have to do when you have to do it, no questions asked. That is a level of determination that not a lot of other people have. And so how do you get there? You have to understand why. It has to be a priority. It has to be important. And you have to have a powerful why. And so that was, you know, going back to my story, my daughter being born gave me a level of determination and obsession that you could not deny me. Like I was going to be successful no matter what for that little girl. Right. And so that why, even though, you know, it sounds like cliche in many ways because a lot of successful people talk about it, but there's a reason why they talk about it, Cody. Yeah. It's because that is what changes everything. You go from commitment to obsessed. You're going to be the best in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's such a good point. And I think you're right. It is a little cliche, but like cliches are usually cliche because they have a lot of truth in them. So yeah, I think so. One thing that, you know, I think you create a lot of value for people in a lot of ways. And I think how much of someone's success is strategy and knowledge, and how much of it is like who you surround yourself with. And because you mentioned these masterminds are so important, and not masterminds specifically, but just being in a network of people that really know what they're doing. So which one is it? Is it knowing your stuff and having a strategy, or is it surrounding yourself with those type of people?
Well, knowledge alone is kind of useless if it's not put to use. I mean, if it was just about knowledge, we have it. I mean, Google, ChatGPT, YouTube University, you know, if it's just about knowledge, we'd all have six packs and we'd all be billionaires, you know?
Good point.
It's applied knowledge that makes all the difference. And, you know, the context of how to use the knowledge. ChatGPT can tell you how to do, you know, ABC, but context means when you're talking to someone that has done it, yes, technically it should be ABC, but if you if you plan C first, then A and B become a lot easier. You see, this is context. This is now you're tapping into experience.
Yeah.
And so you can't get that from AI or ChatGPT because they don't have the nuances that they need, that people need in order to be successful. And so that's a key component of a community, or being around people that are like-minded. What happens is you start getting more of the context. And, for example, you're in a community of people transacting and doing deals, and someone says, well, you know what, why don't you come along? Come along, just come along. I'm looking at a property next Friday, right? That's what happens when you join a community. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm doing this next Friday. Come along, and then you join that person. If you're a newbie, all of a sudden you get access to look at something from a perspective of someone that's been doing it for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
That's context. Content alone is useless, right? And we can listen to as much podcasts and read books, content, but if you have no context, and that's what happens with a community. When you surround yourself around people that are actively doing something, you're gonna build context, and that context and content together build confidence in doing. And that's that's the biggest reward. When you start doing stuff, you're gonna get results. That's how it works.
Yeah, I think that's yeah, I mean, you just said it all there. I love that. Okay, so at your level now, I mean, you're at a level now where people dream about, and they put pictures on their vision board of it, and they this is like all they want in their whole life. So and like you said, it takes this obsession, like you said. As you've grown, what has been harder than most people expect in somewhere? So I guess my real question is, what have you found more difficult than you expected along your journey?
Good question, Cody. This is a really great question. The obsession it doesn't work if it's just short term, right? Obsession for me has to keep going. And so you need to find new ways of getting excited about the same subject. It's like for example, I went from value add deals to construction, like building apartment buildings. So I went from existing apartment buildings to building my own apartment buildings. And so that sparked a whole new excitement and obsession, right, of learning something new. So as you're climbing the ladder, you're going to find out that when you get to the top, you still have more to go. And so how do you continue to better your best? Because if you lose that obsession and determination, then you fall back to being average, Like, what keeps LeBron James still pursuing greatness at 42 years old, right? In his 22nd season of the NBA.
Yeah.
You have to find new objectives. You always have to be challenging yourself. And so that's what I found I didn't know. I thought when I got there, that would be it.
You're done,
but
yeah.
It turns out that if you're not growing, you're dying. And so once you get there and you feel like, okay, I'm here, and you take a deep breath and like, oh my God, this is amazing. Smell the roses, like they say. All of a sudden you're going backwards.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, I mean, that right there should be like, if you're not growing, you're dying. That's going to stick with me. If you're not growing, you're dying. Think if you've truly made it, I think what that means could be so different for so many people. And some people are just like, I just want to retire when I'm 20 or something, or 30.
Yeah.
But to some people, it's just like having a comfortable life, and it just depends. Success depends on everybody else, or not on everybody else. It depends on yourself. It doesn't depend on everybody else. So it sounds interesting, because it sounds like growth for you is partly about like scale, but also like staying challenged. Like, it kind of sounds like, do you find yourself taking on projects like just to see if you can do it at this point?
Yeah. It's like, I have this philosophy of expansion, and you're either expanding or you're contracting, but you're not doing both. And if you're contracting, then you've become a spectator. During times of turbulence, and any time of where you have economic downturns or recessions, depressions, COVIDs, whatever it is, people become spectators. They freeze, right, and they watch everybody else take action. When you look at a football game, you got 60,000 people in the stands, but only 40 people playing the game. And so do you want to be a spectator, or do you want to be the person on the field taking action? And so I've always been that person. Like when I feel myself contracting in a way, I need to shake things up and then now set huge, massive goals. Think about Elon Musk. He has a goal of putting 200,000 people on Mars. Right? He's busy for a while, right? Like he's going to be pursuing something. He's obsessive over something. He's going to execute on it. I mean, that is something to keep you going for a very long time, right? The goal is so massive and so like crazy that he just might do it.
Yeah, the BHAG. Have you heard the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal? You make a
Yes.
goal that, yeah, it's scary and it sounds impossible. And, I think that's...
Those are the things that drive me, right? So,
Yeah.
I came to North America, my mom had $30 in her purse. We lived on social housing. I lived on the streets, right? I was lost and destitute, teenage parent, and so I think I deserve it to myself to see how far I can take it. And, I think that's that level of excitement in my life are the things that are going to fuel me to continue moving forward and challenging myself. It's not about the money, because, I mean, after, you can only drive one Ferrari or two Ferraris at a time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what is your life mean to you? And what do you want people to say about you in that eulogy,
Wow. Yeah, that's a really good way to frame it. So I got to ask you this then. So where are you most intentionally shaking things up in your business? What's a big goal that you've got right now that you're pushing toward?
Well, currently I'm building, but I'm building those. I build like 2 or 3 story walk-ups, maybe 4 stories, stick build, and that's kind of my entry into construction. I mean, the things that really get me going is like concrete and steel. When you see those, 30-floor apartment buildings, I mean, those are the things that really, when I look at that, I'm like, yes, I'm going there, right? And so those are the crazy goals that I think about.
Yeah, I think when you have a goal like that, I mean, it's the saying, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll end up amongst the stars. So like maybe you won't get that, maybe you won't achieve that, but you will get way further than you would have if you just aimed upward,
And there's something about just having a target for something that you can pursue, and then you can adjust on the way, right? And so if you're achieving all of your goals, you are aiming too low. The objective of having what do you call it? Big audacious goal, or what was it called again?
BHAG. It's the big, hairy, audacious goal.
Big hairy. I don't know about hairy, but it's like a big something that it's going to challenge you. The real gift, Cody, is not the goal itself. It's the person that you become on the way to achieving that goal. That's more valuable than the actual goal. And so, for me, it's like I'm continuing to improve myself. I'm continuing to grow. The person I am today, if you were to tap me on the shoulder at 15 years old when I was sleeping on the streets, and you say, you know what, one day you're going to be speaking in front of thousands of people, helping thousands of people, but you'd have this multi-million-dollar portfolio, I would say you're crazy. How? I would not even be able to tell you. But now being here, what I'm most proud of is the person that I've become, not the stuff, not the things. And so that's the value of pursuing something larger than yourself, or something that seems unattainable, is that on the way there, you are becoming someone. And that is more valuable than any goal.
Wow, I love that. Yeah, I think that the journey itself is oftentimes where things are great, where we improve. So just a couple more questions here as we finish off. So you're pursuing that next level. I mean, what do you feel like has to, I love to kind of put these in concrete terms, no pun intended, to make people think about like, what would they maybe have to do at their level? So, you're pursuing this next level, starting with these walk-ups, you want to kind of expand eventually. I'm going to do these big giant skyscrapers and stuff. What do you feel like has to change for you to go from one to the other?
I got to surround myself with people that are doing that. Number one. Number two, I need to attract a partner that is strong in that field. So, when I entered construction, I actually partnered with someone that is already doing construction, and I was able to tap into that experience because I'm not a construction guy, and so there's certain things I bring to the table, but that expertise, you can't learn that overnight, and so and then have create the vehicles and the investors that are gonna bring me to that type of project.
Yeah, I think relying on just yourself can only get you so far sometimes. Being able to rely on some other experts and bringing people that know what they're doing can make all the difference sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for all that you've given us today, Alfonso. Your story is amazing. It's been really great to talk to you. Just a couple more things here. So first of all, if people want to learn more about your education platform, if they want to get in touch with you, if they want to just learn more about you, where should they go online to do that?
Well, there's the two easiest ways is number one, find me on Instagram, at Alfonso Cuadra. All right, so that's number one, and just make sure that it's a real account. I counted yesterday; it's like there's like 15 fake accounts. Okay,
Well,
so
that's how you know you made it, when someone's trying to pretend to be you. Yeah.
yeah, so just make sure it's a real account, and you probably see by the activity or whatnot. Just make sure it's a real account. Maybe you can send me a message. Okay, just say, hey, I found you on Investor Fuel, Real Estate Pros, and if you follow me, I'll follow you back. The second one is my YouTube channel. So go on YouTube, Alfonso Cuadra, and you get to kind of follow along, and you get to see what I'm doing. And anything I have to say on there resonates with you guys, send me a DM and let's connect. The third one is alfonsocuadra.com or wealthgenius.ai.
Awesome. Wealthgenius.ai, alfonsocuadra.com. Thanks so much. We'll put those in the show notes. We'll make sure people have access to that. Thanks so much for coming on today and for giving us your perspective. And I think we got some really good stuff today. If you liked what you heard today, listeners, please go ahead and hit subscribe on the channel so you don't miss an episode. And until then, we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.